no, take better notes. Times are different now. And it seems as though teenagers are dealing with more serious issues than before, already needing to count their days of sobriety. I mean, just because my nose isn't running and my throat isn't scratching doesn't mean I don't feel sick and tired inside. Honestly, what's sad isn't reading our test scores. What's sad is reading that today's average high schooler has the same level of anxiety as a 1950 psychiatric patient. My dear educator, this isn't putting the blame on you. No, it's not your fault entirely. But let's be reminded that pricey psychologists and unfamiliar researchers do not have the advantage you do. They're study subjects right in front of you every day. And yet, with 2,500 stories to hear, how many do you listen to daily? If I may, I'd like to introduce you to she, he, and me. She was often asked what was wrong with her. I couldn't tell you really, but she didn't drop out because she was lazy or unmotivated, no. No, you see, the demons in her head wouldn't even budge enough to let her come to school in peace. Thank God they didn't get to her heart. You wouldn't believe the simple things she'd laugh at. He was the guy who everyone seemed to linger on, trying to figure out his problem. I never saw one, but when he moved his feet on a skateboard or a dance move, when he'd pick up a camera or make music, the only thing I saw was a genius. And yet, with a GPA of 2.5, he could never shine. Right? Me got very used to the question, what happened to you? You see, me had two mirrors, one in the form of a boy and the other in the form of a club. But as life promises, you will lose things. But life did not warn me on turning so freakishly anxious about everything. See, my textbook did not explain to me how to solve a mess like this. It's not just looking down at our paper, trying to figure out logarithms and the meaning of that diction, but looking up for us at lights, trying to figure out ourselves. See, school seems to have taken this skewed form where we're focusing on the curriculum, but not the environment in which we teach it. We're focusing on the grades, but not the person behind them. And let me tell you, I've never been more sick of these A+ games where turning in homework is more important than understanding it. There's this weird gap that no one seemed to figure out, where we're adults, young adults, given independent perks, but still kids, dependent in many ways. My educator, we need you. You have to realize that some of us see you more than we see our own parents. That freshman year, you install the first and lasting impression. That senior year, you're writing letters for us to go to college and get scholarships. Do not underestimate your influence. I know my own apathy can harm me, but Mr. and Mrs., so can yours. On the flip side, my educator, I am not just a student. I'll give you that 2 a.m. homework session, but understand that I've got a world to discover, stories to hear. They say you're only as young as you think you are, but right now I'm the youngest I'll ever be. And with that, I gotta say, to whomever may need it, you are so much more than how well you test history, than the letter grade on your desk, than how that staff member may treat you, than a student